Today's episode of Inside Gaming Daily is brought to you by MeUndies. For 15% off your first pair, go to MeUndies.com/InsideGaming.
Hey everyone, welcome to Instagram every Wednesday.
That's right, it's Wednesday. Who here likes cloud gaming? I bet Lawrence does.
I mean, I'm sorta.
Once you pop, you can't stop.
Well, you know what? Nobody really likes cloud gaming. So too damn bad because Google's making sure that Sony, Microsoft, and every other gaming company will push cloud gaming whether you like it or not.
Oh, God, and that means that you are going to have to get used to that idea in its entirety.
What does that actually mean, though? Aside from not having a cool new console to buy every 5 years or so.
Bummer. Okay, sad. Gonna miss breaking the seal on that $500 cardboard, right? Oh, I mean, that's always fun. That's a rite of passage.
I love that,
Yeah, it
man. So Microsoft and Sony are already talking about what the future of their online services will look like. And to be honest, there are a number of potential benefits of moving gaming into the clouds. And we kind of like our traditional stuff, cords, plug-in, stuff that doesn't work right away.
Shit. I'm gonna be honest with you, I hate
Installing games for 6 hours, Bruce, you don't like it?
Hate it all.
So yeah, online gaming and online services might not suck as badly this generation. Awesome! Thanks,
okay.
Google, for
right.
going into your Google ad coffers and spending money to push everyone else out of the industry. We'll get there.
I mean, to Lawrence's point, yes, we just got the ability to change our names on PlayStation, but I guess the big bad Google specter has scared them into chasing the future a little bit faster.
Which is good. Of course, consoles have always had to play catch up to advances in PCs and the internet, but this time might be a little different because both Sony and Microsoft are very aware of the emerging fields like cloud gaming, as well as the way players communicate with each other.
And while Nintendo has carved out a unique little niche with the Switch, Sony and Microsoft will have to navigate a new world where cloud gaming could threaten the traditional console business.
Oh no! Sony's expected to roll out the next PlayStation in 2020, and they definitely got their eye on new competitors in the field. Yeah, Lawrence?
Yeah, PlayStation CEO Jim Ryan gave an interview to CNET where he discussed how the next generation is going to look. Shocker, it's pretty different than this one. In a reference to Google's upcoming cloud streaming service Stadia, he said, quote, "This transition is probably going to be more interesting than any other we've seen in the past. We obviously have one recently announced new entrant into the gaming space and the possibility of more to come."
He's talking about Google.
Yeah, that means the gaming landscape's changing really fast, more competitors that have very deep pocketbooks. He said that if Sony gets complacent, they're at grave risk of having events overtake them. Hey, good on you, Sony, for seeing that storm on the horizon. As a result, he said that they, quote, "need to show an open-mindedness and a desire to do things to an extent that we haven't had to in the past."
Like teaming up with their old competitor Microsoft.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's
it's
shake
exciting.
hands and make some money, they said.
It's like the Game of Thrones. They all had to bind together to fight the White Walkers.
No one knows what that is
show?
anymore. Show's over. Ryan didn't get into a lot of specifics, but he said that one of the main areas they'll be collaborating on is cloud gaming.
Of course, they already have one already, PlayStation Now, and Ryan said they're looking to take PlayStation Now, quote, to the next level
Level up, fellow gamers!
Yeah.
later this year and then in the years to come.
And while there might be a transition to cloud gaming, he says that Sony still thinks that there is a great market for a next generation console.
So consoles aren't going anywhere, at least not yet, he said, but big infrastructure changes take time, and quote, "it's not like in 3 weeks' time or 3 years' time the console world stops and a console-less world, however that may look, will suddenly take over." Yeah, Lawrence?
Yeah, there's going to be a period of transition, which is probably the period where they'll just slip it under the radar for you guys and you'll be cloud gaming before you actually realize that that's what's happening. So yeah, Ryan was asked if the next PlayStation will be the last console, like we've theorized here. He responded that he didn't know, which is actually a really refreshing and honest answer.
That's really interesting.
We don't know what the market's going to tolerate yet. We don't know how the money's going to flow. And I think specifically, we don't know what kind of disruption Google's going to bring to the whole ecosystem.
Hold on, I remember seeing a PS9 ad where you inhale the console.
Yes.
Checkmate, Sony. To give some more context to this whole story, Ryan actually mentioned that in 2012, lots of people told him that the PS4 would flop because mobile was the future.
Ah, he was right. Kind of, sort of. He had a quote, "The logic was actually hard to fault, but we believed in that product then, we believe in this next generation product now. Who knows how it might evolve? Hybrid models between console and some sort of cloud model? Possibly that. I just don't know. And if I did know, I wouldn't tell you."
Because I like money, he said.
This dude rules.
So while Sony isn't abandoning consoles, it sounds like we can expect it to beef up PlayStation Now, similar to what Xbox is doing with Game Pass.
Yeah, that way they'll both have something similar to offer gamers once Google Stadia rolls out, which should be pretty soon.
Yeah, and xCloud.
And xCloud.
As for Microsoft, they've been adding more and more games to its Xbox Game Pass streaming service, including brand new stuff like Crackdown 3, I guess That's arguable.
They also announced recently that they're going to bring Game Pass to PC.
Hey, that's great.
With the idea of getting those players on a monthly subscription plan as well.
Yeah, and Microsoft is also going to integrate new features into its console that seem more PC-like.
Yeah, they're currently working on some big updates to its social systems on Xbox Live, trying to implement some features that kind of sound like Discord or even Battle.net or something like that.
Okay.
When its central reports that the update will change a number of things, particularly the way it handles gamer tags, which I'm so glad we can still call them that.
With your
Never,
GT,
ever.
bro, hit me up.
Yeah. Currently, you pick a gamer tag that has to be unique across Xbox Live. No matter if you're playing a game, chatting with friends, whatever. That's why there's all a bunch of numbers on the end, 420, 69s, what have you. But that system could be changing to where you pick any name you want, even if it's a duplicate, and then they just throw a hashtag on the end of your username or something like that. So if you're Cock Gobbler 1, you don't have to be Cock Gobbler 1 anymore.
Who would
You
ever
just
pick
be
Cock Gobbler? Well, they pick Cock Gobbler 69 every time.
I guess, yeah. Well, you don't get to choose your hashtag, though. That's the thing, yeah. So you just have to keep rolling it until you get Cock Gobbler 420 or something like that.
They're also making changes to Xbox Live profiles, according to some early concepts. You might be able to include in your profile stats from other consoles, like PlayStation, Nintendo, and even PC.
Microsoft, you can't do this.
That's
No.
cool.
It's gonna break the internet.
My walled garden.
This would go along with Microsoft's new philosophy of being more open to other platforms, just like we talked about, when it comes to things like crossplay and adding Xbox games to Steam.
So Microsoft is definitely trying to modernize Xbox Live and bring it more in line with unified platforms like you've seen on the PC for years.
Yeah, like Sony, Microsoft is doing things that it hasn't done in the past, and it seems like both are trying to be a bit more open and collaborative because giant Google is looming over them, rather than just demanding that you buy their consoles and stay in their ecosystem if you want to play their games.
Right, this is definitely a reaction to the Googles of the world as, oh, here comes the cloud, it's gonna rain games on me. As they move in and try to attempt to bust into gaming by skipping consoles entirely and let you stream whatever game you want, basically on any device you own, through the magic of clouds.
Lawrence, we've always been excited about the idea of a Netflix for video games, right?
Yeah, yes. There are some drawbacks, especially if you're very fond of the old ecosystem of buying games and owning them. But that's just not the future where it's headed. It's not how most people are going to consume things, much like movies. That's where we're going. We talked about this for a long time, the idea of Netflix for games. We're getting there in baby steps, but Google said that's exactly what it's going to do with Stadia. And while there's tons of infrastructure needed to make that happen, it also lets Google skip the expense of producing and shipping consoles. It's gonna mix up the economics of gaming pretty hard and probably result in a lot fewer jobs.
But what about the free trade agreement we have with China? That should keep prices low.
Also, what about GameStop? I'm worried about GameStop.
Yeah, they've been on the way out for a long time, and this is certainly not helping.
Yeah, and like Lawrence is talking about there, it is not cheap to manufacture consoles. Some console makers even sell their hardware at a loss initially to get them into as many homes as possible. So back when the PS4 came out, they were only making a profit about $18 a console, which
Wow, that's insane.
it's low. That's actually really good,
Yeah.
but it's still not as high as you might think.
You're giving away the printers to sell the ink.
So Sony and Microsoft shift to cloud only. They stand to save a lot of money associated with the cost of producing consumer hardware.
There is a PowerPoint presentation out there that's making a bunch of CEOs hard.
Yeah. We get to kill 400 jobs and make more money?
Again, the idea is to offer something like Netflix for games, offering a bunch of games for a monthly cost.
Yeah, but Netflix also loses billions every year, as everybody knows, and it keeps gradually increasing the cost of its streaming service. It's not clear if gaming companies could afford to take those losses.
Exactly.
But
yeah.
Netflix can, whereas I know Sony and Microsoft, I'm not sure.
If Google comes in and offers a bunch of first-run games for $10 a month, that could have massive consequences. I know we're all mad at the Epic Store right now, but this could change a lot of things.
Yeah.
Have a lot of ripples throughout the industry.
Lawrence, could this be good for gamers?
Well, yeah, maybe. It's tough to say. I think you can draw clear parallels between this and the movie industry, TV industry, and especially the music industry. Once everything hit streaming, it became so much cheaper and accessible, which is great for consumers because you only have to pay $10 a month to listen to everything or pay a Netflix subscription to watch unlimited movies, but it also really pinches down the amount of money flowing into the system. Yeah. So Netflix can do it because they're burning money in a giant furnace to make all of these movies and license everything. But at Rooster Teeth, we've had some challenges trying to make like good premium internet content because there's no place for it. The market is saturated.
Yeah.
So if Google comes in and they're just throwing money at the market and really driving down the expectation that you have to pay for what you consume, there's gonna be a lot less money and a lot more people trying to fight for the same number of eyeballs. So this is just Sony and Microsoft trying to make sure that they have a place in the future and that they won't have to spend millions and millions of dollars of debt and investment money to get there.
What about like game studios and publishing stuff?
Yeah.
That's tough. I mean, in the meantime, it's good because like Microsoft's going around acquiring a lot of studios to make sure that they can compete. But 7 years down the road, when all that debt starts crashing in, then we might start to see the fallout of it. So I expect in the next couple of years, TV production's probably going to slow down a lot because the investment money's drying up. And with music, it's kind of we've been through that already.
Yeah.
People don't make albums at the pace they used to because they don't sell, and that's not where the money is. They release a new album so you can go on tour, and that's it. Yeah, if you like new, exciting, original games, we might see a flurry of those for 4 years or so, but once the money starts drying up, so too will the game development. Another point of comparison, look at what Amazon did to retail. Just completely priced them out by driving down, or by offering a better service that cost way less.
Come back, GameStop.
Yeah.
I want to buy your toys. Anyway, speaking of Stadia, we're going to be learning more about that event tomorrow. In the YouTube description, Google said that it will reveal details about pricing, games, and when it will launch.
Well, that's cool. You can bet that Sony and Microsoft will be paying attention to.
Oh, they're going to be watching YouTube with us?
My guess is they already know.
Oh, yeah.
I think they already know everything that's going to happen.
Everyone goes to CEO Con or whatever, and they can see the next 10 to 20 years.
Yeah, they already know.
They already know what fashion's going to look like. They know what movies are going to be hot. They know what cool music's coming out. And they're ahead of this stuff. They know the fashion trends.
We talked a lot about the cloud today, but you know where you really need the cloud? On your crotch. That's right. Today's episode is sponsored by MeUndies, and if you've ever wanted to feel a graceful cloud around your genitals, you need to go to MeUndies.com/InsideGaming right now. They have, and this is some new softness tech, micro-modal fabric. Full 3 times softer than cotton. How do they do that? I don't know. How do you even measure softness? They did it. They figured it out. And that's what they promise you. Micro-modal fabric for 3 times softness around your junk. They also have boxer briefs with a fly. Great cut of boxer briefs, but the added option for guys who prefer to go through the gate versus over the fence when it comes time to answer the call of nature. They also offer other kinds of things aside from just boxer briefs or underwears. They have loungewear, micro-modal loungewear. That's right, it's cloud around you wherever you go. They've got lounge pants and onesies. Yes, they make onesies, and if you've never decided to just be a trash idiot all day and wear a onesie and play video games and have food delivered to you, that's the Inside Gaming way to live, and you should do that with MeUndies. They also offer 15% off for your first pair and free shipping and a 100% satisfaction guarantee. That's 15% off the most comfortable underwear you'll ever wrap around your midsection. You can get that at MeUndies.com/InsideGaming. That's 50% off your first pair, 100% satisfaction guarantee. MeUndies.com/InsideGaming. Thank you, MeUndies, for the sponsorship.
Oh, delight. That's such a weird word when you hear it from corporate types.
Yeah.
In that little bib.
So much delight.
Yeah, it's also worth noting that Microsoft has talked a lot about integrating cloud computing into games in the past, like with Crackdown 3, Sea of Thieves.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's been a mixed bag, basically, to say the least, right, Lawrence?
Did they ever do that?
If the mixed bag is that it never happened,
Yeah,
sure.
that's what I thought.
I mean, they explored those opportunities.